Hey everybody, out here doing a little wildcrafting today, so I thought I'd shoot you a little video. I know some folks have been interested in a how-to with me, so yeah, this is going to probably be the beginning of the series. We are out in one of my favorite spots for wildcrafting, and just kind of looking around, doing a little scouting and a little bit of picking today. We are in an area where I usually get a lot of my grape. And, well, it was looking pretty promising the last time I was out here, but folks have come through and cut a lot of the vines. Not really a bad thing for the local plant life, because the grape in here is so thick that it's been choking out a lot of the other trees. But this is probably going to negatively impact our grape harvest this year. So I guess what we're going to do is we're just going to take a little look around and see what we can come up with. Yeah, right here you can see one of the grapevines that they came through and cut. This wasn't just broken off. You can see that nice clean cut right through there at a perfect angle. That's someone coming through with clippers and cutting this back a little bit. Which, as you can see, it is all through these trees, which unfortunately slowly chokes the trees out and kills them. Chokes them out and kills them, and that's, so cutting these vines back is actually really good for the trees in the area, but it's not so good for our grape harvest. So this is kind of a catch-22 situation. You know, hopefully this will let some of these trees live a little bit longer. It just means I'm gonna have to go to a different spot for my grape this year. I think we might get some grape leaf today that we'll pickle later, and maybe we'll see what it looks like. There might be some sumac berry around that's going to be good to pick. We'll find out. I'm a little hesitant to go after it because we've had a week solid worth of rain up here, and that rain washes all of the flavor out of the berry, so it really needs some good sunlight before it gets good flavor again. If we find anything good, I'll then do a little taste test and see how it is. And when you're looking for American sumac, you want the really dark red clusters. Because that's the edible sumac. The white sumac is the poison sumac, and you want to avoid that. But good sumac should have a very tart, almost astringent citrus taste to it. But that tends to go away after the rain, because it's that flavor is generated and sits on the berries itself, on the exterior, and when it rains, especially heavy, it washes all those chemicals that the plant naturally produces off, and you lose that taste. So we'll do a little bit of looking. If there's anything good, I'll take a quick taste of it, see how it is, and we'll probably end up leaving it for another few days to really come ripe. Well, not even so much ripe, but to develop that flavor again before we pick it and dry it. So let's take a little look around and see what's here. Okay, so we grabbed some of the grape leaves from a nice little sunny spot back up this nice little shady trail, and we're going to head out to one of the spots where we normally pick sumac. Currently there's not a lot growing. This rain's kind of wiped out a lot of the raspberries, which is what we were out here for originally. Either the rain knocked them out of the bushes, or somebody else came in and got them, or the birds got them. So the raspberry picking today has been kind of a wash. And just see what else is out here, and hopefully we come up with something good. Alright guys, here's another really good find for you. This is jewelweed. This is going to be your friend if you're out wildcrafting, because you can make an anti-poison ivy salve out of this. Your best times to pick it are before the dew dries on the leaves, or after the sun has been off of it for a few hours. And you process this into a tincture or salve and use it for treating any areas that have come into contact with poison ivy. Alright guys, right here, this is a beautiful example of American sumac. This tree is actually really small. There's more back here, and even these I'd say are maybe at most medium height. They can get quite tall. Actually, there's an idea against the other trees. These are just sort of medium height sumac. But this little guy right here, let's test this. Just gonna lick my finger, rub it up the plant. Yeah, it's pretty mild right now, so I'm going to leave this for another few days and really let this kind of start to develop in the sunlight. But this is American sumac, and this is some of the absolute best in the world. This is one of the key ingredients in za'atar, a Middle Eastern seasoning blend. Very, very popular in a bunch of the rest of the world. And this stuff, when we actually ship it overseas, not us specifically, but when people who harvest this here ship it overseas, it sells out so fast. And it is considered some of the absolute best in the world for culinary uses. But yeah, this patch will generate a decent amount. And fortunately, it's pretty common, so we'll be able to get in a lot of this year. We just have to catch it after it's had a few days of sunlight to really develop its flavor. So it's been kind of a long day today. We discovered a new berry patch. We're finally home, and this one actually looks very promising. One of the things that is kind of important to remember is that if you're going to be doing this sort of thing, that this is a process, right? You're not just going to be doing a one and done visit. This isn't like going to a pick your own place where everything is ready on the vine and you just go in and you pick it and you go home with your pints of berries or your bushels of apples or what have you. This is an ongoing process. So you're going to be going back to these patches time and time again. You're going to be having to go back as the fruit comes ripe, because with this wildcrafted fruits, wildcrafted anything, nature doesn't really adhere to a schedule that's convenient for us. We have to be ready to go out and pick when the food is ready. So some days you're going to go out and you're going to check your patches and you're going to come home with loads of berries. We came home with a good solid harvest today based off of what we found. And really it was the discovery of this new patch that actually let us have a decent harvest. Our regular areas had already been either picked clean, like I said earlier, or we lost the fruit to rain and high winds, which we've been having over the last couple of weeks. So it's kind of hit or miss, you know? I mean, sometimes you'll go out and you'll have a really good harvest, sometimes you won't. Today we were fortunate and we did. And this means that we're going to end up going back on a pretty regular basis to check these berry bushes and bring in whatever we can off of them. And it can be really daunting because it seems like you don't get a lot all at once. So you go out and you spend hours hiking through the woods and going up these little backwoods trails and getting in the prickers and the poison ivy and all the rest of this for what seems like very little. But if you do it consistently, as the season goes on, you end up getting more and more food. And at the end of your season, you have this phenomenal harvest of food that is unlike anything you can get from a grocery store or a prepackaged meal. So I really do encourage you to take some time and learn. And I'll be doing more videos on this, and hopefully they'll be helpful and folks will enjoy it, and I can continue doing this and really pass on some of this knowledge that I've spent time accruing and that we've spent time applying in the real world, not just book learning. So I guess until then, have fun, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe and keep your eyes open because there's food everywhere.